Alright, welcome back to the semi-final of the Best of Asia tournament hosted by Backmagoon. And we've got loueMT picking Mongols once again in the red trunks here on the top side on Dry Arabia. While Flash switching from Chinese to Abbasid. For game number 2 here, he's in the blue trunks, he's on the lower side of the map. With Low successful in the first game. Let's see how this one pans out for our players. So again, Flash going for an early mill, but this time for a sort of a different reason. Berries gather faster, and there's more value out of the berry patches for Abbasid and Delhi, and I believe Ottoman as well. While for China, who he was playing last game, you obviously want to minimize gathering around the town center because it actually means you get to generate tax gold that you can then collect with your officials. So same but different. While Low pretty much going for the same opening as last time. But Ovu and an early pasture, and he possibly can look at going for an early barracks to put the pressure on, but in saying that, I think he's really only going to be able to put some pressure on the gold mine if he does opt to do so. So assuming that he's still gathering wood, I think that might be what he's opting to do here. Because, you know, Mongols, they start with the Gur, so he could already start on his gold gathering and work his way to a really quick age 2 if he wanted to, but maybe he's looking to try and just give himself a bit of map control with spears, because then he can always follow up with the Silver Tree landmark for age 2, and really reap the benefit of improved traders that train faster and are cheaper than on the other civs. And yeah, it looks like Flash is just barreling towards age 2. Gonna get that House of Wisdom. Low going for an early barracks. Looks like both our players sitting with one scout, rather than opting to lose some villager production time in favour of more scouts and more scouting and map control. Looks like it's really only in the Azure against Rus that people are really still going up to 2 or 3 early scouts these days. Well, we've got military wing here for Flash. Interesting, because most of the time players will either go trade wing. I keep calling it market wing. That's effectively what it is. You get 3 free traders, and you can also get some nice bonuses to your traders. Extra armor, extra resource drop-off, and another extra resource drop-off tech. But the other common pick, probably the most common pick, is Eco Wing. So you can get cheaper town centers. Really plays well into the fresh food stuff upgrade, which has now moved to the town center. It formerly was the first tier of eco techs from the Eco Wing. Military wing though, going for early boot camp. Not something you see terribly often, you know, and following it up with composite bows. But it can also be very devastating. Well, it does look like loueMT's going for something very similar to last game. Early pasture, barracks, 4 spears, and then just working on age 2 from there. Oh, he's going to go deer stones rather than silver tree. So this will really increase the value of being aggressive with towers and stuff, which is very common for Mongol players. A civ that can't actually wall off, so locking your opponent in with towers is a very common strategy. So military wings finished up. Flash doesn't have the gold yet for boot camp, but looks like he'll have it soon. Or be going for eco-techs possibly here. New wheelbarrow loueMT not going for any upgrades just yet, but Flash already got, I believe when he produces, I mean when he gets the age up of the military wing, it actually gives him that small number of units there. Well, he's actually adding the barracks in the range now. Low still just sitting on the barracks. Stop production for the moment. Just trying to get a little bit of harass done with the Khan. Nothing major, but it just keeps Flash on his toes. Both the Scout and the Khan will be able to just regenerate through all this. And the beauty of doing this, he knows the army's chasing, so he can engage on the gold mine. Not really going to get any kill value, but it will momentarily delay the gold gathering. So we are seeing boot camp for all infantry health. Really blends quite nicely with your armory, I mean your blacksmith technologies as well. We got upgraded spearmen to hardened spearmen, and a range, another pasture coming down for low as well, so he can just sit here under the town centre nice and safe. And if you can burn down the mining camp, it actually gives him 50 resources if he sets it to burning. So Flash is really best off trying to repair it as quickly as he can here. Although Low not quite sure if he wants to engage there, and actually taking a bit more damage than he really should have, rather than just sticking around to clean the archer up or just hightail it immediately. So a slight misplay there from him. Flash able to pick off one of those spearmen. In the meanwhile, Flash is actually pushing onto Low. Going to get a couple of units of his opponents. Force him to try and fight with these villagers, and we might be able to get one of them here. Although Flash probably wants to try and pick off that last archer there, because he hasn't got a lot of health left. I want some nice awareness there by Low to pull that guy out before it's too late. Flash attempting to go for a town centre over here, but he's going to have to try and guard these vills. He should be okay too, because I mean 3 archers should beat 3 spears, especially if they're trying to focus down the villagers. So Low trying to find a weak point in his opponent's base, but Flash has also got some aggressive units over here. Looks like Flash is going to come out on top over there. But there are some more defenders here for Low, while Low is having to retreat over there with his harassing units. So with both fresh foodstuffs, I mean, oh, sorry, I was going to say and Fertile Crescent, but there's no Fertile Crescent, is there? But with fresh foodstuffs now, it should be fairly easy to sustain 2 town centre production. Start pulling ahead in the work account here, and this time Low's gone for a lot more of an aggressive opening rather than going for Silver Tree and being able to pump out some caravans, and by now he'd actually have a worker lead. At this stage, the pressure's really on, and he's got to try and get a bit of damage done here. But in saying that, the Abbasid player invest a little bit more in tech rather than in eco. So Low trying to get a couple of villager kills here. He might be able to get one. Oh, and he will do. Khan OP. Ooh. Won't lose the Khan or any of the archers there. The Camel Archer might actually be able to get a kill or two here. And there's also horseman production, so stables here as well for Flash. Low Gonna go for a quick Castle Age. Adding a pair of stables of his own, so he can start getting some Lancers out in the field. Very difficult for Flash to deal with, even if he's got Spearmen, because he's only going to have Age 2 upgrades. Although being Abbasid, at least he does have a slightly longer Spearman range. So the Step Redoubt is going to get finished up there. Flash, well aware that his opponent already headed to Castle Age, so he will get his own Eco Wing now. It is, again, I think it's a bit odd to see Military Wing first, but then take a relatively quick Castle Age anyway. I suppose he is going to get access to another farm food tech there. As well as, yeah, Fertile Crescent, even if he just adds one more town center from here on out, it does pay for itself. But Lowe's going to have to try and hold on with a fairly minimal number of units for the time being. He is going to have double Lancer production. So they are going to kick in now, but at the same time, we got really any military production here? No, not really anything at the moment for Flash. And he's going to have to retreat eventually here because, you know, those spears, once they go down, the archers are pretty much rooted here. And the battering ram too. But Flash has got a bit of a Vil lead because he's gone up to 2 town centers. So the Step Redoubt does offset that somewhat because it does actually give a 50% gold bonus drop off while acting just like a regular Gur. You know, you could even have it on the wood or the food, but you know, that 50% drop off is immense, particularly if you're not playing with Silver Tree in Age 2, because obviously your eco is pretty much all based off what you can mine out of the map. Flash going to try and take out a building or two with this ram. Bit cheeky here, but if Lowe doesn't notice, it might actually work, but he will notice. So the ram going to have to retreat there. It will get picked off pretty quickly. Be a bit of a blow for Flash because they are quite expensive, so Lowe is up quite a bit in terms of the kill value and the army value at the moment. Flash sort of relying on this wall holding things up long enough for him to actually get out some defensive units of his own. He's going to get some man-at-arms. And also crossbowmen. Let's just squeeze in a lancer of his own. So Lowe doesn't quite cut through, but you can just see the villagers over the forest. So Flash is trying to find somewhere to gather some wood from. Unfortunately, this most recently produced villager is going to fall. These other villagers rallied to the far side are safe for the time being. Some ecotechs coming in for our players, so Flash in particular is adding a lot of them. Good number of Lancers here. This could be a very tough engagement for Flash, but he is starting to get a couple of crossbows now. And fighting right on the choke is probably panning out better for Flash than it is for Lowe, I think. Those crossbows nice and safe at the back. So while archers are good at dealing with infantry, they're pretty useless against the Lancers or Knights. Though trying to grab relics in the meanwhile, got a couple of Shaman running around the map to pick those up. Already got one safely back at home. But Flash looks to have defended quite well here against a bigger force. Crossbow's OP. That's right, Wolves no longer chase all the way back to base, so the Shaman should be nice and safe here. Low just making sure that Flash isn't sending anything around this side to pick him off either. It's not uncommon for players to basically preempt when the relics are getting picked up, or even when they see them disappear off the map, to respond in kind. Armory tech's coming in. We've got range damage and ranged armor here for Flash. Well, Low's already got ranged damage. Looking to add his range damage level 2. Flash doing well to keep himself nicely walled off here. Low's starting to trail a little bit in terms of economy. He has gone for a second town center of his own now. That gap should no longer grow and grow and grow. So Flash trying to defend this wall off, and it's smart of him to do this because Low's already parked an army there. So Low gonna have to retreat because he knows he's outnumbered. Or he decides, maybe I can double back, just pick off the villagers and get the hell out of here. Because that'd probably be the best result overall for him. So he will do just that. The Khan should be able to allow for these guys to get out of here too. With this tower by Low, he's going to have to pick off this. Messed up a bit there. He clicked onto the wolf and then clicked off it, so bit of a mistake there. Maybe nerves playing under the pressure here. So he will lose the villager, which is not good for him. And meanwhile, his attempt at harassing on that side not successful. That's a bit of a loss there for Low. Now that outpost not really going to do anything for him. Not able to really keep tabs on the gold mine. And keep that stone defended. So Low killing a wolf, getting a bit of revenge. Flash now safely walled off here. Just a bit of a pain for Mongols because they sort of like a free-flowing game with lots of raiding opportunity, and their own tech tree really forces them to play into that style. Right now Low control of 2 out of 3 sacreds, trying to grab the 3rd, but this central one going to be denied, and he doesn't actually have the composition, well, the numbers I should say. He's probably got the right composition, he just doesn't have the numbers to really push Flash back here, I don't think. So Low, sacred victory on the clock, but he's going to have to defend this very well from here. He's trailing in both military and economy units. A lot of the melee actually not engaging as cleanly into the fight as they sort of could here. This concave has really worked in Low's favour, I think. I think he actually does have more in the way of a crossbow count. But Flash, it's just too many of them. Having a retreat. I mean, Low's having a retreat. To being just outside of his towers there. Bit of a break in play now, but... Oh, and Flash needs to try and get his Imam over here and then onto the far side, but he's just going to lose him. It's a bit of a shame for Flash. So both of our players losing a unit to the Wolves here. And Low's managed to snack on 4 relics and 2 sacreds to a single relic for Flash, and he hasn't quite gotten onto the sacred site yet, but he's bringing some villagers forward. He's looking to try and repair, siege through the next fight, or even go for a forward tower here. Oh, and the Camel Archer able to clean up the sacred site, but Lowe has already got a Springled tower here to prevent Flash from snatching it back off him. This is dirty. Flash bringing a lot of villagers up now because he wants to go for a forward keep. Put the pressure on. Forcing Lowe to actually bring a lot of villagers forward of his own to try and take out this Mangonel too, which is just going to get speed repaired through all this. All the villagers there falling for Lowe, so he's still down by about 20 villager pop and down on army pop at the moment. Mangonel creeping forward. Had some nice shots, but the archers were a little bit spaced there. But another hit should deal some nice splash once again. Well, the forward keep is going to finish up, so it's going to be tough for Lowe. I mean, at least being Mongols, he can move buildings out of the range of the keep. But aside from that, this is going to be very painful because this is cutting him off from all these resources over here. A lot of food, and he doesn't have a huge amount of access to food at the moment. On top of that, it is a pain in the ass to try and move all of your pastures and a town center or another drop-off point. Does hold you up a little bit in terms of your economy. So things looking very solid for Flash here at the moment. Wouldn't envy Lou, but at the same time, like I said, with Mongols, at least he does have the option of just upping and leaving. He might want to cancel this crossbow so he can actually get this range out of here. Flash attempting to clean up one of the sacred sites off to the left. Just harm that gold income a little bit more. Dissuade Lowe from just throwing down a market and dumping some of this excess gold back into food or wood. I'd say that sound was actually tier 2 of the Golden Age? No. It's more siege weapons being thrown up there by Flash. Just now grab that sacred, gonna neutralize one as well. Not that Lowe's struggling too much for gold. Really, he's mostly struggling for food at the moment. He's got an awful lot of production, but he can't afford to just concurrently produce out of all of it at the moment. A lot of villagers over here on the deer. Probably should be splitting them up across the deer as well. Because at this level upwards, every little bit helps in terms of, you know, pre-planning your villagers' movements. Probably even could have a bunch of these guys on that one right next to the Gur, but that's probably not so consequential. Lowe panicking a bit because he sees the villagers come forward, but Flash is actually more interested in just gathering the berries than actually putting a tower or a keep up over here. Plus he still holds that military advantage, so I think he's looking to just keep creeping forward here at the moment. Doesn't quite have the Springled count just to dive under the outpost and take out the Treb, but I think he realizes that it's not actually upgraded yet. But there are some Springleds there for Lowe as well. Flash has brought some more villagers over to come burn down this tower here, which Lowe's been upgrading to try and get Springled emplacements on. It's going to be very useful for Flash in the long run as well, getting this keep up, although he will bleed a number of villagers trying to finish the keep. And over here Flash is going to bleed some more villagers because there's men-at-arms wearing them down. And the horsemen aren't the best unit at fighting them, but now the Ovu being taken out and the blacksmith, a lot of villagers forced to idle here for loueMT. keep finishing up now. These guys probably could just gather on the far side, but it seems like they're just going to stand there and tank sprinkled shots for the moment. Flash stealing some more food out in the map, and it's looking rough for Low because he needs to get enough wood to make enough pastures that he can just gather a lot of trained sheep here. And that military gap seems to only be growing, but he has closed the villager gap a little. But he'll be eager to try and bring down this keep as soon as possible here. Flash got a bunch of units not actually engaging in the main army of loueMT at the moment, so this could help swing things back Low's way, but does loueMT even have enough to hold on, even with only half the army fighting his? Does look like loueMT does have the advantage in terms of the siege count there. All the Springles of Flash going down, but Flash, she's got so much of a backline here with the archers. And loueMT starting to run out of an army at this stage, running out of space on the map, resources to gather. I think this may be just about it, because especially if this prayer tent goes down, there's not really any easy gold for loueMT at all. And GG, Flash locks the series up at 1-1.